Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to the Gunnar Vibe. With me again, it's Varun Kalyan. Thanks, Varun.
Hey, Arun.
Disappointing day today for the Gunners. Um, 1-0 loss against a good, decent Newcastle side, a Newcastle side which had many players missing. Um, what were your reactions, first reactions after the kick? Well, the end of the
Yeah. Tough game for sure. It was expected to be a very tough trip to the Northeast. Um, Even a draw could have been a fair result, meaning if we could get that. But we have to take the defeat and move on, I guess. It wasn't our day, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you
Numerous
feel about
reasons. Yeah.
what did you feel about the way Arsenal played in general? I mean, it may not be the first time we are seeing an
Yeah.
Arsenal which has not really created a lot of chances. Uh,
Yeah.
that seemed apparent because I think Arsenal didn't manage a shot on target until like the 80th minute. So
Yeah, off the bat, we this is the second defeat on the bounce. I could see a pattern even in the West Ham game. We are missing Odegaard, right? We missed Odegaard's creativity. I mean, last season, if you compare the 2-0 victory that we had, Odegaard was pulling the strings, and I think he has that ability which we were missing today. I mean, we did not have any creativity like in the middle. We were just going down the left with Martinelli, and it was very predictable for the Newcastle defenders. They were expecting a cross, and they were dealing with it. So I don't think we had anything different to offer. And plus, we didn't missing Odegaard plus Jesus, and Saka was slightly fairly missing as well in his creativity. He didn't have any clear cut chances. So I think Newcastle maybe got their tactics right. So that
yeah.
could be the other way of looking at it. Yeah.
What Yeah, let's start there. I think obviously before the game we found out that Odegaard was not even in the team.
Yeah.
Any surprises overall as to how the team was set up, what personnel we had?
Yeah, with the people missing, I guess, Odegaard, of course, was missing, and then Smith Rowe also had a setback. So two of the, like creative players were missing, and I think that nobody else he could go to, I guess, from Arteta's perspective. Naturally, like Havertz was the next attacking midfielder. So no surprises with the known missing players that we had. Like, for example, Partey, Odegaard, and Jesus. I think these three were missing today, and I think it affected our game.
Yeah. Did you feel Arteta made an interesting choice, I guess, with Tomiyasu starting in place of Zinchenko?
I think that was a good choice because of the physicality of Newcastle's team and the height in general. I think putting Tomiyasu for the first 65, 70 minutes, I think that was a good choice. I think we were not defensively weak today. We were like defending pretty well. Newcastle only had two chances, which one of them they scored. Defensively, very tight game, very similar to the Man City game. That day, we rode our luck, we won it. Today, they rode their luck and they won that. So
Yeah, I felt Tomiyasu really had a good game. I think it might be a strategy why Arteta to have Tomiyasu play with left winger if he's facing like Almiron today.
yeah,
And I think last time it was Silva, Bernardo Silva with Man City. So if it
correct.
is the right winger with a right-sided player, it might
Yeah,
be Zinchenko. That seems to be the pattern. And that seemed to be the case when he made the switch once Almiron was subbed out. But
right.
I felt Saliba played really well. He was bossing the game. Uh, I don't think what's his face, the striker Wilson had any sniff in the
Callum, yeah, yeah.
first half or even for the first 60 minutes. But what do you feel about the first half? A lot of things going on, mostly
Yeah,
football, but
Yeah, like a very cagey game, expected type of physical game. With the Newcastle players like Bruno and Joelinton, and like these guys are all like big bullies. Uh, and plus it's their home. It was an expected physical game, and I think we were pretty good, to be honest. Like we were creating a few chances, and but no clear cut chances, as you said. So very tight game. I mean, that's all I can say. And there was that whole scuffle, right, with the Havertz,
Mm.
tackle, and but apart from that, I don't think there was anything there. No clear cut chances on either side, and lucky to be. I mean, maybe now if I think about it, um, it could have been a 0-0 or a 1-1, but we just didn't have that chance conversion. So I mean, couldn't I don't have anything. It was a very dead rubber game, to be honest. It wasn't a fun game to watch. It was a pretty tight game, and one mistake from someone, which is kind of what led to the goal. So
What did you feel about I mean, the Havertz tackle pretty much kind of brought the game to the boil. It was pretty lame until then, anyways, but
yeah,
Havertz made a tackle. Three Newcastle players in turn got a yellow card. But a few moments after that, Bruno Guimaraes had that elbow on Jorginho. I don't know what was going on with him and Jorginho. He was pretty much
yeah,
after him the entire game. Did you feel it was? I felt it was he was lucky to be in the pitch, to be honest.
yeah,
But it was surprising that VAR did not get involved. Pretty much dismissed it as soon as they
exactly.
they got the videos.
I mean, we can complain about the result, but to be honest, VAR has been a big problem, right? Especially, at least I can see in our games, they have virtually been non-existent when we really, for example, like as you mentioned, like tackle like that. Whereas you see the same thing or a similar minor thing happened in the City and United game, and they pulled up Hoyland and they gave City a penalty, right?
Mm.
I think definitely there is something, I mean, that's not going right. Like if they could do that for that game, why couldn't they do a check on this and like actually come up with a decent? Because if he had even got a yellow, and he would have been sent off in the second yellow.
I
So
don't think a
yeah,
VAR can advise a referee for a yellow card offense.
yeah,
But in my opinion, I think that that might be the case. They thought that was a yellow card offense, and
yeah,
they didn't let the referee to do anything after that. But
right.
honestly, I feel there was no intention from Guimaraes to play the ball. He was just going to
Yeah, violent
hit.
conduct, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it was supposedly a straight red in my mind. But
right.
yeah,
Yeah, I think like even for like yeah, in case it's not a yellow, but I think for any violent conduct, like this is a similar thing that happened for Rodri, right, against Nottingham Forest.
mm,
Uh, Not more about a yellow or like a foul, but it was literally like double checked by VAR and they gave a red, which could have happened in this case.
yeah,
And we know, Joelinton and Bruno and this Newcastle team, they're always physical like this, and they get away with this. If you remember our game against Newcastle at the Emirates, they were lucky to escape a 0-0 back in January last year. I think we deserved to win that game too. There was
mm,
so many goof ups from the VAR. We didn't receive a penalty, and the result was a 0-0. And today, I mean, unlucky to lose the game, to be honest.
yeah.
We at least deserved a point. I mean, like there was nothing in the game for them to win it, except for that whole, three checks by VAR, which was surprising. It looked like a clear foul to me on Gabriel,
Mm.
but I was so shocked that there was nothing given for that.
Yeah, honestly, I felt the ball was out of play in the first place. And
Yeah, it
then,
looked. I don't know how they deemed it to be on. Like it was completely out, to be honest.
yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to see what they did to check because from our naked eyes, obviously, it looked out. But the rule is all portion of the ball needs to
The
be
ball.
and maybe an inch was still in and on the line, and that's why they
Mm,
deemed it still in play. But yeah,
Yeah.
to your point, there was two hands on the back of Gabriel. That
He literally pushed him
literally,
down.
it
Yeah,
literally looked like a foul, and that was dismissed. The third
exactly.
one, if you see clearly, and we are supposed to be the ones who look at these things clearly, take their time, which they did, and look at all possible angles. And according to the rules, uh, a player, if they are ahead of the keeper, they are deemed offside, and that seems to be the case. The last
Right,
deflection came off of Joe Linton
right,
to Gordon, and Gordon poked it in, and I felt that was a big mistake. Maybe they didn't draw the lines correctly, or they may not even understand the rules. I don't,
right.
I don't really get it, but that was clearly at least two of the three checks they made was poor.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I think in the ball deemed offside, and the offside and the foul, there was at least two out of three things that were incorrect. Meaning, like it was a clear foul. Maybe we can give a 50-50 for the ball being out, but
mm,
for the offside rule that you're saying, as well as the blatant push on the back, it should have been given a foul
yeah,
because that is the only chance they had, and then that was actually just like handed over to them. And after that, it was, it was a very difficult task for us then.
yeah. I
But
mean, I think the VAR concluded it was not clear and obvious, but I don't know. I mean, there are video evidence that they have
right,
in hand to, even if it is not as clear to the naked eye for us spectators, they
yeah,
should have even enough video evidence to prove that it is. But anyways, moving on, that goal was scored around the 70th minute ish. There
yeah,
was a lot more time remaining for Arsenal to score. I think it was in the 64th minute. But
yeah,
even then, there's like about 30 minutes plus 25 minutes plus added time for Arsenal to score. Um, a lot of, again, slow passing side to side. Not,
yeah,
I don't recall any real clear cut chance created. In fact, I'm looking at the stats. There was one shot on target.
right,
Um, quite a few shots on goal. 60% of possession to Arsenal, which was pretty apparent because
yeah,
Newcastle was defending deep. A lot of block shots. The most concerning part for me was the corner kicks. We had 11 corner
yeah,
kicks to Newcastle zero. Uh, at least three of them at the end from
yeah.
Trossard didn't go past the first
A
header.
defender, yeah. First defender had kept heading it out. Yep, yep,
And I felt overall our free kicks were poor. The ideas behind how we are crossing the balls were not great. Um, we have been talking about a new striker. Obviously, Nketiah has scored a hat trick last week. We are missing Gabriel. Uh, in fact, with this game, the way it went, it felt like we are really missing him. What do you think Arsenal is missing this season?
yeah. I mean, I definitely am on the wagon that we are missing a striker, meaning like more than a striker, the profile of the striker, I think, is what we are missing. Like we have Jesus and Nketiah, both are great. They are like both fox in the box, like like very good with their feet. But I think exactly like the point you made, which is crosses were being crossed. We don't have that big frame or structure to basically skillfully guide that, right? That is the type of player that we are missing, right? A presence in the box like a Haaland to actually apply pressure on the defenders, right? Our guys are so small. That is where we are not able to head those balls in, right? I think that is basically like more than a striker. I think the profile of striker is where I think we are missing that big personality and a person who can drag us out when we don't have a great game, right? We somehow managed it with Chelsea, like Declan Rice, for example. pulled up his sleeves and he stood up. I mean, he was doing a great job today, but again, every time he cannot pull that trick out of his,
Right.
hat. I think we need more of those characters. Odegaard is one of those guys, but we missed him very bad. Saka, actually, one thing I can definitely say is since he came back from the injury, he's not been himself. Like we have not seen, except for that one assist against Chelsea, the consistent attack that he creates, like on the edge of the box. We haven't seen much of it since his injury. I don't know whether he's still carrying an injury. So I think that is, I think, cumulative of, what we are seeing as a result, right? I think even if you go to the West Ham game, it was very similar. Like our game was so poor. Um, until Odegaard came on, we did not have a single shot, or like we were just passing around the back and we were defending poorly. So the concerning thing is not just today's result, but if you look at the last 5 days together, we are lacking creativity and goals. Right? If you take out the Sheffield game, Sheffield is an easy win. Like you don't even if you remove that result, I think we are missing a few goals. We need a little bit more. We need more dimensions, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I like about City's. The thing I like about City's attack is they have a Haaland and they have Alvarez. So we
Mm.
have two of Alvarez's, like in Nketiah and Jesus, but we don't have a Haaland, and that is the missing piece, I feel. But let's see what the club's plan is. Ideally, they should have addressed it during the summer, but not sure what the plan is. Maybe Arteta thinks Havertz is that guy, but I don't see him. He hasn't scored anything apart from the penalty, and today could have been his day. But again, he has not proved himself, I feel.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, overall, I think you made the point where both Saka, I think in terms of Saka, I think you have seen a lot of defenders doubling up on
yeah,
him. So him getting that freedom like he got last
yeah,
season is also missing. Um, on the other side, I feel Martinelli was a little subdued today. Maybe
yeah,
like before you would see him actually get going on the outside or trying to dribble past the defender. He was not doing that as much, basically passing it back to Tomiyasu or Zinchenko. But
mm,
yeah, chance creation definitely is less. In fact, I think trying to get the stats up, chance creation for Arsenal this season is 73. They are fifth on total chance creation as compared to Man City and Liverpool, who are at under 103. Man
right.
City is at 183 shots on target, whereas Arsenal is eighth with 158. So a lot of things that Arsenal would have been good at getting the ball closer to the box is definitely missing. We
Yeah,
have enough players around there, but one either we have slowed down the progression of our ball to the box and not getting those chances in or creating
yeah,
those chances, or like you said before, we probably need a striker of a different profile when we
yeah.
have backs towards the wall. We need a
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
be there on
And I
top.
think the other thing is, I think a lot of it, I think we have been ignoring or we have been not paying attention to is we have actually been missing uh, Thomas Partey and his passing ability. Declan Rice has definitely filled the shoes of like him, like defensively, and like we have not even missed Partey, right, in that sense. But I think where we have missed Partey's passing, the way he broke the game out, uh, and sometimes even like he's also like a goal scorer sometimes, and he's also a big guy in the box, right, especially in corners and those opportunities. I think we have missed him as well. Like he goes out like under the radar. Like we don't talk about him. Unfortunately, this season he was one of our best players last season.
Yeah,
We were like, if there is no Partey, we are screwed, right? From that, we have gone to a team with Declan Rice coming in, we don't even talk about Partey.
Mm.
So he's been missing more in the attacking sense and like more stabilizing, the back. So I feel like Jorginho, uh, he's good, but I don't think he's as good as Partey.
Yeah.
So we have been missing him at the back. So defensively we have been great. I mean, like Saliba and Gabriel are two great defenders, but I think um, missing players definitely affected us today. Maybe if Odegaard was on the pitch and if Jesus was there, maybe it could have been a different story. But I think we have to pick ourselves up. I mean, we have some tough games, not anytime soon, but coming soon. Brentford away, and I think Villa away in December. So rest of them are home games. Hopefully, we could get them across the line, but we have to keep our tails up. I mean, the next big game of I think at Anfield, I think is coming thick and fast in December. So, um, but so far we have played the top five, top six teams. I think this is our only defeat. So that's the only comfort that I can get, that this is our first defeat of the season in the league. But again, we should pick up from now. We should not I feel like we are flat, right? We are not as great as last season, and this season we are not equal to last season, nor we are like worse. Like we're kind of like in a flat line. So I trust the club. I mean, I think we need supporters need to stick together. I mean, we always have good we always have a good post match review when we win, but I think we need to also stick together when we lose. So,
Yeah, yeah, it's true. I mean, obviously, last season we had Partey, Odegaard, Saka around there. This season, we haven't got Partey starting a game with all three in the field,
yeah,
especially from midfield. So um, that is obviously a big miss. Um, Overall, like you mentioned, back-to-back losses now. First loss of the Premier League season for Arsenal. I think they are third now. Liverpool plays tomorrow. If they win, which is pretty
tight.
possible that they will because they're playing Luton away, Arsenal will be dropping down to fourth, I believe.
Fourth, yeah,
Chelsea plays Tottenham on Monday, so that I think regardless of the result there, Tottenham will still be either second or third. But to your point, I think the number of goals scored as in comparison to last season is almost the same. The
yeah,
point tally is also almost the same. The position obviously is different where we are. This game was difficult away game. I think Arsenal played pretty well
yeah,
under the circumstances, defended really well, definitely didn't create a lot of chances, which is a shame because that was the case even at West Ham. So
yeah,
that is probably one of the main things Arteta would need to focus on to get Arsenal back into chance creation, especially on away games. I think Arsenal is pretty good at home. So we'll see whenever the next away game that comes up, how Arsenal turns up. Do we have the
yeah,
entire squad available to make sure that we have everyone gunning for Arsenal. Our
yeah,
next game, obviously, is the Champions League game versus Sevilla.
yeah,
We'll be playing at home. Uh, an important game again. If you win, it makes us uh, a better chance for us to get through the groups.
yeah.
Um, Thoughts
We
about the
should
game?
actually. Yeah, I was looking at Sevilla's last five results. I mean, they only won one game
Mm,
in La Liga or maybe Copa del Rey. So I think Sevilla is totally out of form. They drew today again to Celta Vigo. So at least we have home comfort in the next two games, like home to Sevilla and home to Burnley. Hopefully we can chalk those wins, and the next away game is Brentford, as you said, after the international break again. So I think the next few run of games look easy. I mean, easier to me, right? Sevilla, Burnley home, Brentford away, Lens home, Wolves home, Luton away, and then Villa away is going to be difficult. So some definitely thick and away games coming like very fast, but we have time to recover, right? Before we face Liverpool's and all those big guys away. So the only tricky thing this season for the fixture list, if you noticed, is we have played almost the top five, but top six, but most of them have been home. Man United, Man City have been home. Tottenham has been home. And then we have only played Chelsea. I wouldn't count as a top five yet, but Newcastle at least away and then Liverpool away. So good that at least we, like last season, we had Newcastle away way towards the end of the season. Good thing is the away game is over now. And if Anfield again was a thorn in our fixture list last season. So I'm glad it's before December. So in case we have to make amends towards the end, we have Newcastle home and Liverpool home. Yeah. So let's see. Hopefully that'll be settled.
Yeah.
But that's the story for today.
Yeah. I mean, a sad state of affairs overall for Arsenal. I won't say poor performance, but just to end, before we end the call, who do you think was the player of the day game for Arsenal?
You mean in the positive sense? Positive sense, I think.
Maybe positive and negative. Let's say that.
Rice, I think, was awesome. And I think Gabriel, he was immense. I think those were the two main, who actually played really well, meaning above average. Like others were fine, but that's the thing. Like most of our players were dull today. Like Saka, Havertz, Jorginho. I mean, in terms of he was okay, but yeah, today I didn't find anyone who stuck out too much. I think Rice was really great. The way he defended the ball, even towards the end where there were counterattacks from Newcastle, he was everywhere. Yeah. And so was Gabriel. So I think those two were kind of the top players for me. But I think Newcastle played, I think, as a unit. I think tactically they were Eddie Howe, I think, got his tactics right. I think he, as you said, they doubled up on Saka. Nketiah was he was lost in the crowd, right? Yeah. And Havertz, I don't see him. I don't know. He had a couple of good crosses today, but I would love to see him, take more initiative and leadership role and take us forward. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. Yeah. But possession, as you said, the momentum also, we had decent momentum. If you look at the whole chart, Newcastle only had 3 or 4 moments, in terms of the patches, and they ended up using that one, momentum, and they scored that goal. Yeah. So very tough game, tight result. We have to take it and move on, I guess. Yeah. We'll leave it at that. Obviously, thank you so much, Varun, for taking it. Thank you, Arun. Talking about disappointing result, but we as fans have to go through up and down. There's obviously a down period for Arsenal. Hopefully, from this trophy, we'll be getting up the tables very soon, both in the Champions League and the Premier League. So, thank you so much again, Varun. Thanks, Arun. We'll talk again soon. Yep. Thank you. Yeah. Bye.